Picture this moment. You step off the plane in Southeast Asia, and immediately you notice something that will change your entire perspective on beauty. The women of Vietnam possess an elegance that has captivated travelers for centuries. A mysterious blend of grace, intelligence, and natural charm that you simply cannot find anywhere else on Earth. But here is what nobody tells you about this. The beauty you are about to discover goes far beyond what meets the eye, and by the end of this journey, you will understand why Vietnam has earned a reputation that keeps millions of visitors coming back year after year, searching for something they can barely put into words. The land that defies all expectations. Vietnam stretches along the eastern coast of Southeast Asia like a dragon curving its spine. And this is no coincidence because the Vietnamese people themselves call their nation the land of the ascending dragon. The country spans over 1,650 kilometers from north to south, creating one of the most diverse geographical experiences you will ever encounter. But here is the part that will blow your mind. Within this relatively narrow strip of land, you will find snow-capped mountains in the north, endless rice terraces that look like stairways to heaven, pristine beaches with sand so white it seems unreal, and dense jungles hiding secrets that go back thousands of years. The landscape changes so dramatically that you could experience 4 different worlds in a single week of travel. The northern region borders China, and this is where you need to pay attention because the influence of this massive neighbor has shaped Vietnam in ways most people never realize. To the west, Vietnam shares borders with Laos and Cambodia, creating a cultural melting pot that has produced some of the most unique traditions in all of Asia. The eastern coastline stretches along the South China Sea for over 3,200 kilometers, offering beaches that rival anything you have seen in the Caribbean or Mediterranean, but with a fraction of the tourists and a fraction of the cost. The southern tip of the country reaches down toward Malaysia and Indonesia, placing Vietnam at the absolute heart of Southeast Asian trade, culture, and yes, romance. Where heaven touches earth. Ha Long Bay in the north is not just a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it is quite literally one of the natural wonders of the world, and when you see it with your own eyes, you will understand why ancient legends claim that dragons descended here to protect Vietnam from invaders. Picture this. Over 1,600 limestone islands and islets rise from emerald waters, creating a seascape so surreal that it has been featured in countless films and photographs. Yet none of them capture the feeling of actually being there. But wait, because there is something even more extraordinary happening in these waters. Hidden within many of these limestone formations are caves so massive and so beautifully decorated by nature that explorers are still discovering new chambers even today. Some of these caves have their own ecosystems, their own weather systems, and their own rivers flowing through them. Moving south to central Vietnam, you encounter Hoi An, an ancient trading port that has been perfectly preserved for over 400 years. The old town glows with thousands of colorful lanterns every single night, creating an atmosphere so romantic that it has become one of the top destinations for couples from around the world. The Japanese covered bridge, built in the 1590s, still stands as a testament to the international connections Vietnam has maintained for centuries. But here is what makes Hoi An truly special. You can have a custom suit or dress made by master tailors in just 24 hours for a price that would shock you, and the quality rivals anything you would find on Savile Row in London. The imperial city of Hue served as Vietnam's capital for over 140 years, and walking through the ancient citadel feels like stepping directly into the pages of history. The Forbidden Purple City, modeled after Beijing's Forbidden City, once housed the royal family and contained hundreds of buildings, though many were destroyed during the wars. Yet what remains is absolutely magnificent, with ornate palaces, beautiful gardens, and royal tombs scattered throughout the surrounding countryside that rival anything you will see in Thailand or Cambodia. And here is the kicker. Most Western tourists skip Hue entirely, meaning you can explore these imperial wonders without fighting through crowds of selfie stick-wielding tourists. In the south, Ho Chi Minh City, still called Saigon by many locals, pulses with an energy that has to be experienced to be believed. This is where ancient temples sit next to gleaming skyscrapers, where street food vendors serve meals that would cost $50 in New York for less than $2, and where the nightlife rivals Bangkok but with a sophistication that surprises everyone who experiences it. The Siu Chi tunnels just outside the city offer a sobering look at Vietnam's recent history, With an underground network that once stretched for over 250 kilometers and housed thousands of people during the war. Crawling through these tunnels gives you a profound respect for the resilience and determination of the Vietnamese people. The Mekong Delta in the far south creates a water world unlike anything else on the planet. This massive river splits into 9 branches, creating a maze of waterways, floating markets, and villages built entirely on stilts. The fertility of this region is so incredible that it produces enough rice to feed the entire country and still export millions of tons every year. Visiting the floating markets at dawn, watching hundreds of boats laden with fruits, vegetables, and flowers conducting business on the water, gives you a glimpse into a way of life that has remained unchanged for centuries. The Pearl of Southeast Asia. Vietnam has earned numerous nicknames throughout Asia, but the one that resonates most powerfully is the Pearl of Southeast Asia, and once you understand why, you will never see this country the same way again. Just as a pearl is formed through layers of beauty built over time, often through pressure and challenge, Vietnam has emerged from a complex history as one of the most captivating destinations in the entire region. The country ranks as the 15th most populous nation on Earth, with over 98 million people, yet it maintains a warmth and welcoming spirit toward visitors that puts much larger and wealthier nations to shame. The Vietnamese call their country Trong Hoa Xe Hoi Chu Nia Vietnam, which translates to the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, but do not let the political designation fool you because this is one of the most capitalist and entrepreneurial societies you will ever encounter. The business culture here is incredibly dynamic, with a growing middle class that is transforming cities at a pace that would make your head spin. In major cities, new restaurants, cafes, and businesses open every single day, creating opportunities and experiences that did not exist even a few months earlier. The secret everyone whispers about but few understand. Now we need to address something directly, something that brings us back to the beginning and the reason why Vietnam has developed such a powerful reputation among men who travel the world. The title of this documentary mentions the word sinful, and you need to understand exactly what this means and what it does not mean, because the truth is far more nuanced and far more interesting than cheap stereotypes would suggest. Vietnamese women are renowned throughout Asia and beyond for their beauty, but here is what sets them apart from every other country you might visit. The beauty here is not just physical, though you will certainly notice the graceful figures, the long dark hair, and the porcelain skin that has captivated poets and artists for thousands of years. The deeper attraction comes from a cultural combination that is increasingly rare in our modern world. Vietnamese women maintain traditional values of family, loyalty, and genuine femininity, while simultaneously being highly educated, ambitious, and worldly. The literacy rate for women in Vietnam exceeds 95%, one of the highest in Southeast Asia, and women make up over half of the university students in the country. The fashion sense here deserves special mention because Vietnamese women have mastered the art of looking absolutely stunning without trying too hard. The traditional ao dai, a flowing tunic worn over pants, accentuates the female form in a way that is simultaneously modest and incredibly elegant. Seeing hundreds of young women wearing ao dai as they ride motorbikes through the streets of Hanoi or Saigon creates a visual spectacle that visitors never forget. But beyond the aesthetics, there is a warmth and approachability here that stands in stark contrast to the often cold and transactional dating cultures of Western countries, or even neighboring Thailand and the Philippines. However, and this is crucial to understand, Vietnam is not a country where you will find the go-go bar culture of Thailand, or the overt commercialization of romance that exists in some other Southeast Asian destinations. The sinful reputation comes more from the fact that single foreign men, particularly those over 40 who might struggle in Western dating markets, find genuine romantic opportunities here that seem almost too good to be true. The cultural differences mean that an age gap of 10, 15, or even 20 years raises far fewer eyebrows here than it would in New York, London, or Sydney. Vietnamese culture places high value on stability, maturity, and the ability to provide for a family, qualities that older men often possess in greater abundance than their younger counterparts. The dating culture operates differently here in ways that will surprise you. Public displays of affection are generally modest, but the relationships themselves tend to move faster and more seriously than in the West. Vietnamese women typically date with the intention of finding a life partner rather than casual entertainment, which means you need to be genuine in your intentions. The family plays an enormous role in relationships, and meeting the parents early in the relationship is not just common but expected. This traditional approach actually provides a level of security and authenticity that many Western men find refreshing after years of confusing dating apps and unclear expectations back home. Ancient traditions that still define daily life. Vietnamese culture is built on a foundation that goes back over 4,000 years, and understanding even a few of these traditions will transform your experience in the country. Ancestor worship is not just a religious practice but a fundamental part of Vietnamese identity, with nearly every home containing an altar dedicated to deceased family members. The Lunar New Year, called Tet, is not merely a holiday but a sacred time when the entire country essentially shuts down for a week as families reunite, pay respects to ancestors, and prepare for the year ahead. If you visit during Tet, you will experience something profound, though be aware that many businesses close and travel becomes challenging. The concept of face, meaning social reputation and dignity, governs interactions in ways that Westerners often miss entirely. Criticizing someone publicly, even constructively, causes them to lose face and can damage relationships permanently. Understanding this helps explain the indirect communication style and the constant emphasis on harmony and politeness. When a Vietnamese person smiles and says yes, they might actually mean maybe or even no, and learning to read these subtle signals becomes essential for anyone spending significant time in the country. Food culture in Vietnam deserves an entire documentary by itself because the cuisine ranks among the best in the world. And here is why. The French colonization, which lasted from 1887 to 1954, introduced techniques and ingredients that blended perfectly with existing Chinese influences and indigenous traditions. The result is a cuisine that balances sweet, sour, salty, and spicy flavors with remarkable sophistication. Pho, the iconic beef noodle soup, might seem simple, but a proper bowl requires broth that has been simmered for 12 to 24 hours with over a dozen spices and aromatics. The banh mi sandwich, now found worldwide, originated in Vietnam as a perfect fusion of French baguettes and Vietnamese ingredients. Coffee culture in Vietnam is something special that most visitors never anticipate. Vietnam is the second largest coffee exporter in the world, producing primarily Robusta beans that create a strong, bitter brew unlike anything you experience at Starbucks. The traditional preparation involves a small metal filter that slowly drips coffee into a cup containing sweetened condensed milk, creating Ca Phi Sua Da, or iced milk coffee, which has become the unofficial national drink. Sitting at a tiny plastic stool on a sidewalk, sipping this incredible coffee while watching the controlled chaos of traffic flow past you, becomes one of those simple pleasures that defines the Vietnamese experience. The spiritual life of Vietnam blends Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism with indigenous animist beliefs, and a touch of Catholicism left over from French rule. This religious flexibility means you will find Buddhist pagodas next to Catholic cathedrals, with many Vietnamese people participating in ceremonies from multiple traditions without seeing any contradiction. The Chao Dai religion, unique to Vietnam, combines elements from all major world religions and features temples so colorful and ornate that they look like something from a fantasy film. The truth about safety and modern Vietnam. One concern that stops many potential visitors from experiencing Vietnam is safety, and this is where reality differs dramatically from perception. Vietnam is actually one of the safest countries in Southeast Asia, with violent crime against tourists being extremely rare. The biggest threat you face is petty theft, particularly bag snatching by motorbike thieves in major cities, which can be avoided by keeping your belongings secure and staying aware of your surroundings. The Vietnamese people themselves are generally honest and helpful, often going out of their way to assist confused foreigners, even when there is no benefit to themselves. The development happening across Vietnam is absolutely staggering. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City now feature luxury shopping malls that rival anything in Singapore or Hong Kong, with international brands competing for space alongside Vietnamese companies. The infrastructure is improving rapidly, with new highways, bridges, and an upcoming high-speed rail line that will connect the entire country. Internet speeds in major cities match or exceed what you would find in most Western countries, and the cost of living remains incredibly low, with a comfortable lifestyle available for a fraction of what it would cost in Europe or North America. The expat community in Vietnam has exploded over the past decade, with tens of thousands of foreigners now calling the country home. Teaching English remains the most common job for Western expats, but opportunities in business, technology, and hospitality are expanding rapidly. Retirees discover that their pension or savings stretch 3 to 5 times further here than back home, allowing a quality of life that would be impossible in their home countries. Many men over 40 find that Vietnam offers not just a lower cost of living but a complete lifestyle upgrade, with better weather, better food, more social opportunities, and yes, better romantic prospects than they could ever achieve back home. The visa situation has become increasingly foreigner-friendly, with many nationalities now eligible for visa-free entry for 15 to 45 days depending on citizenship. Longer-term visas are available through various means, and the government continues to expand options as they recognize the economic benefits that foreign residents and tourists bring. The process is straightforward and far less bureaucratic than in neighboring China or even Thailand in many cases. Your journey starts with a single decision. So there you have it. Vietnam is not sinful in any immoral sense, but it does offer temptations that are hard to resist. The temptation to stay longer than planned. The temptation to return again and again. The temptation to completely restructure your life around the incredible experiences this country offers. For men over 40 who feel that life has passed them by, who struggle with dating in increasingly difficult Western markets, who want adventure without sacrificing comfort, Vietnam presents opportunities that simply do not exist in most other places on Earth. The natural beauty will take your breath away. The culture will fascinate you. The food will spoil you for any other cuisine. And the women, well, you will have to experience that for yourself to truly understand. Now we want to hear from you. Which city or country are you watching this video from right now? What are your thoughts about Vietnam after learning all these incredible facts? Share your perspective in the comments below because we read every single one and love connecting with our community around the world. And here is something important that takes just 2 seconds but helps us tremendously. Right next to the like button, you will see a hype button. Click that hype button right now to help this channel grow and reach more people who need to discover these amazing destinations. It is completely free, it takes 1 second, and we genuinely appreciate every single person who does it. Thank you so much for that support. Finally, do not let your journey end here. We have carefully selected some incredible videos appearing on your screen right now that will take you even deeper into the fascinating world of international travel, culture, and adventure. Click on one of those videos to discover even more mind-blowing curiosities and destinations that could change your life. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next adventure.